Coach, how much do you enjoy that part of the job of getting to coach coaches?
Oh, that's, I think the environment you want is, they're coaching me too. I think to the extent that you really have the kind of staff that we have, they're able to dig into things, on a deeper level, and then precipitates dialogue. And we got a group that not only is talented and really bright, but works really hard. And everybo's the beneficiary of that. So.
Congrats on the Jalen deal. What does it mean to get that done before the season and kind of put it to bed?
Yeah, I think, I know he was someone for me when I first got here that you could see, the potential for his development. And, he committed to that, and that year, he started playing more. And then I think going into that summer and last year, the work that he's put in, it's a success story in my mind, not only for him, but for our entire program and the development process, because he's someone he's not a finished product by any means, and I think he's first in line relative to his commitment to continue to get better. So, him to have a clear head this year and be able to really continue to grow. I'm going to keep challenging him to play defense, but he can do a lot of things on the floor, and that versatility I think is something that really helps our team in a lot of ways. So it's a good, excited to have him part of the program for a number of years.
Do you see guys play with any more freedom when they have that security of getting a deal done before they go into the season, or does it make a difference at all to you?
I think for any of us, if there's uncertainty in our professional life or personal life, it's human nature to have that pop into your head. I don't think he went through training camp thinking about all that. He's been present, and he's been aggressive. I think we kept coaching him. It wasn't like kid gloves until Jalen gets resolution on a deal. But at the same time, I think there's got to be a sense, I think, for both the Hawks and for Jalen, that because it's something that everybody's really excited about, that it does give him an opportunity to kind of keep pushing forward without having that in the back of his mind.
What's this like for you? The eve before the start of the season, it's been a long process to get to this point. You like at a Christmas Eve kind of a thing?
No, I feel a lot like this is my first year. The first year really was more observation and not having a chance to have a training camp. And last year we had a different team. There's a lot of new faces. I think the evolution of that group in a lot of ways right now. There's some things that we're going to need to keep working. There's a training process, but it's been, I think, a really good preseason. We're not close to a finished product, but I think we can see a path of where we need to go. And as a coach, and I think for the players too, that's fun.
Going back to Jalen for a minute, when you look at the favorites, at least in the East and the West, in terms of Boston and OKC, they're pulling, their offense pulls you all over the court. So when you have somebody who's not a center like Jalen who can rebound like he does, is there a premium on that kind of rebounding from a player who's not a center?
I think there's a premium on rebounding across the board, unless you have, particularly if, you have other guys that can push the ball, and I think one of the things Trey's done a good job of in the preseason is when Jalen or somebody gets it, for him to run the lane. And that's something not only, to have your, bigger wings who can rebound, but to have those guys be able to catch the ball and turn and push it. And sometimes it doesn't mean they go end to end and finish, but they have the ability to put it down and start to get an advantage. And then for them to be able to make those plays and pass, makes you harder to guard in transition.
You mentioned defense. What are some other things that he can unlock in his game? What kind of player is Atlanta getting over these next few years?
Well, I wouldn't. You asked me about Jalen, so I talked about his defense. I could say the same thing about all of our guys, and the reason being, I think we know that we need to defend collectively. So some of it's not just any one guy taking on a matchup and winning a matchup, so to speak. It's our team collectively. So just the habits that you need within a certain system to be able to help your teammates as much as anything. And I think that's training, awareness, and on a basic level, it's a commitment. You know, you have to commit to in order to train, and when those things, the more important they become, the more aware you are of them. And when you make a mistake or when you make a play, not only you know it, but your teammates know it. The coaches usually know it. So it's a collective mindset and something that I think Jalen's dialed into. You know, those habits take time. You know, being in a stance. You know, that's probably the most basic thing. Just you have to be down in a stance in order to be able to move. And when you are in a stance, you know, you're conscious of playing defense.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.